And good evening, my lovely Lost Tales, and welcome back to the Blue Rose Respite for my soothing Sunday night stream. How is it going, my lovelies? Thank you so much for joining me tonight, because tonight we are celebrating hitting 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, an absolutely incredible milestone that I've always aspired to reach, but I never thought I'd be able to. We reached 50k in, I think, November of last year, but it's just taken me a while to get things going to host another Q&A. But everything is aligned, everything is ready, and thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. And we have Vince in the chat line. Jotun, how's it going, Vince? I love you, I miss you. Oh, how is it going, everyone? It's so good to see everyone. Oh, thank you so much, my lovelies. Oh, I really, really appreciate it. Like, my channel on YouTube just keeps going to even more, like, incredible heights. And even though I work very, very hard on my videos and I put so much passion into it, I have to thank you guys for giving them so much love and care and for sharing them and talking about them and being so excited for whenever I release a new one. And last night we, had the premiere for the latest chapter of Shadows and Stardust, my series with Night Angel, the yandere superhero, and about 250 people tuned in to see it, which is amazing and just absolutely incredible. So if you were part of that, or if you're just joining us tonight and you haven't heard of that, be sure to check out my YouTube stuff as well, because that is what we are celebrating tonight. Oh, your work's been really great to witness. Your stories are so freaking creative. Thank you so much, Granite Planet. I appreciate that. And yes, we are one step closer to eventually hitting 1 million. I'm not sure if I'll ever reach 1 million. I say that now. Cut to a couple of years later and I reach 1 million. But we're halfway, now over halfway towards 100,000 on YouTube, which would be absolutely incredible. I'm not sure if you guys know how long I've been on YouTube. Just trying to think. I think I made my channel... I think I made my channel in like 2016, but I didn't start posting until 2017, I believe. So it's a while. It's a while. It's been like 7 years or something like that. It's been 7 years! And I started out as a creepypasta narrator. And for a time I was doing both narrations and ASMR stuff, but then I decided, you know what, I'm going to put more time and focus into doing the ASMR stuff and focus more on doing like other voice acting work. So then I stopped doing those and just focused more on like ASMR stuff and like bigger voice acting projects. And now here we are, celebrating 50k. And yeah, 75k on the way. Oh, Mike! Mike, everyone say hi to Mike, because they're amazing, they're a wonderful friend, and I love them. Thank you so much for saying hi, Mike. Feel free to chill with us, stay as long as you like. Things are going to be very, very relaxed tonight. We're just here having a good time. We're going to be doing a giveaway. I'm going to be answering some questions, and then right at the end, I have some big announcements. 7 years of slaying and being the best. Oh, you're too kind. Thank you. Steph, have you seen your fan base? You'll reach whatever milestone you have with them there. Absolutely. I couldn't do this without you, my lovelies. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, and thank you so much. Even though the one thing I love about this is it's actually just a top. I'm wearing my very comfy black yoga pants underneath it. So the top is very stylish. It is perfect for streaming because it looks like I'm wearing a dress. But it adds a little bit more polish and flair. And you know, I like the little air of sophistication that we keep on my little corner of the internet. So I thought it was very befitting for something of a more celebratory atmosphere. Oh, thank you so much, Mike. Alright, are you guys ready to head over to the Q&A page? Because I haven't used it in a while and I want to show it off, so let's jump on over. Sorry. I don't know why that didn't work, I'm sorry! Oh, I'm an idiot. There we go. Because I was like focusing on talking to camera so I didn't see chat. So, my sincere apologies, my lovelies. Alrighty, let me just take that from the top. So a rough outline of tonight's schedule is I'll be giving thanks to my current patrons. I'll announce the the giveaway and the specificities of that. And then I'll be answering any questions that came in from patrons. And afterwards, I'll be jumping between questions in chat and questions that were submitted in the comments to my announcement video on YouTube, just for people who aren't able to make it tonight, so then I can still answer their questions. And then I have some fun reveals coming out later in the evening. And then I will draw the winner of the giveaway, and then we will wrap things up for the evening. Let me just check if I can get that mic a little bit closer. There we go. Alrighty, so the giveaway is for a Steam key copy of Cult of the Lamb. It is a absolutely fantastic game that I cannot recommend enough. It's by an Aussie studio, a very small independent studio that have made a fantastic fun game, and they're constantly adding fun updates to it. There's extra DLC you can buy if you want more like cosmetic details or like some other fun extras, but all the big new installments that they've added have all been like just free DLC that they've added onto the game. So including a new one that came out recently called Sins of the Flesh, which is fun, kind of cavorting through the woods, happy, spicy cult vibes. So hell yes. But let us not wait any longer. Okay, first things first. I want to give thanks to my current patrons over on Patreon, because they are incredibly supportive. I literally could not do this without them. So to thank my Cherubim of the Archive, Ben Haliotis, David Shepper Jr., Phoenix Berd, Hayden Parke, and Tony. Thank you so much, my Cherubim. My Archangels of the Forest, Aaron Kosterman, Alan Smith, Charles Ceates, Cherry, Jin Zarubin, Liam Connolly, Liked Bacchus 142, Martin, Moon Puppy 76, Mr. Parrot, Norse Fox 93, PokemonUB, Scion of the Emperor, Steve Duffy, and Valerie. Thank you so much, my Archangels. And a thank you to my Angels of Generosity, 404, Andy Del Rey, Arwyn Griffin, Astrid Lockhart, Blitz King, Brandon McCandless, Captain Birdseye, Carmina H, Kasim Cross, ChaywardtheGod, Cobalt, Cool Guy, DeCarlo Salmon, Derek Casgrande, Donovan Campbell, Etch-a-Sketch, Edwin Williamson, Gaston Powell, Harry Smith, Jacob Boatwright, Joe Camberwell, None Your Business, Outsider HP, P.S. Fitzpatrick, Raptor, Rahadan Koyevan, RJ's Shadow Loki, Suzunia Harrington, Shadowfang, Soul Dragon, Stephen Drysdale, Tiffany White, Uzum, Weaver of Passion, Wolf Lord of the North, Zethanok, and Zero Nova. Thank you so much, my Angels of Generosity, and a big thank you to all patrons, former patrons, current patrons, and potential patrons of the future. Thank you so much for your absolutely incredible generosity. I would not be able to keep doing this without you guys, without your incredible support. And also to all of my incredible Twitch subs as well. Thank you so much for always going above and beyond with your generosity. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Oh, it's all good, Baron. It's all good. Alrighty, so we're going to be starting the giveaway in just a minute. So, to clarify, the giveaway is for a Steam key of Cult of the Lamb, so you do need to have an active Steam account in order to redeem it. If you're a previous winner of a giveaway, maybe don't enter it just to give other people a running shot at winning. You do need to be a follower in order to enter. And if you're a Twitch sub, you'll also get an additional 5 raffle tickets to go in into the draw. But... Oh, Joe Campbell, thank you so much. I don't have a question, but I just want to say congrats on 50k and looking forward to 100k. I know you'll have that silver play button in your hands before too long, and I'll be punching the air when you do. Thank you so much, Joe. Alrighty. Are you ready to start this giveaway? So the way to enter will be !giveaway, and that will put you into the raffle. So let us kick things off. I have had issues with this in the past, but it should... There we go. Okay, yes, and people are starting to come through as entrants. I can see your names popping up on my screen. Okay, good. Everything is smooth sailing. A couple of years ago, we had some issues with the giveaway, and we ended up using a spinning wheel and just keeping track of names. So I'm glad it's working. Alrighty then. So, how are you doing, my lovelies? I hope you've all been having a wonderful weekend. I most certainly am. So, let me just check things. Everything seems to be looking good. We're recording. Everything's great. Okie dokie Loki. Okay, so let's kick things off with the questions that came in from my patrons and Twitch subs. So, our first question tonight comes from HJ Parke, aka Hayden. They've been one of my biggest longtime supporters and a incredible mod as well. So yes, unfortunately they probably won't be able to make it tonight just because time difference, but their question is, if you could have a perfect cosplay to wear to conventions of your OCs, which character would you have? That is a very good question. I have definitely considered cosplaying some of my ASMR characters, especially the Countess, because she's very much based on like my own looks. I think so long as I've got like the black and blue dress, maybe not the full diamond necklace, but so long as I had the black and blue dress and I was carrying around a blue rose, people who are familiar with my work would then hopefully be able to tell like who I'm dressed as. So the Countess I think would probably be the one I can realistically put a cosplay together. Also, I just love dressing up as vampires. If I had the resources and I could have a perfect cosplay to wear to conventions, I would want a cosplay of the Seraph of Stories, my persona with the blue gem encrusted dress, the wings, the 6 wings made of pages of paper. That would be absolutely incredible. It would be very tricky to put together and very heavy and tricky to wear throughout a convention space, but so long as I had 1 or 2 people to kind of just make sure that like there was a bit of a space around me as I moved through the convention hall, then it would be fine. But it would be something I would potentially love to... I have no skill when it comes to making cosplays, but if I had the time and the resources, I would definitely potentially commission someone to make the wings and the dress. But that would be a huge undertaking and a huge project. So if I had a perfect cosplay to wear to conventions, it would either be the Countess, because I could kind of put one of those, an outfit like that together myself. Or if it's like, oh, one day, like a perfect cosplay, I would love to dress as the Seraph. That would be absolutely incredible. Oh. Yes, and I would love to, with the Seraph as a cosplay, I would love to have, like, the wings kind of be a little bit mechanized as well, so that if I were to, like, move, like, a remote, if I had a wire that went down the armored arm and then rested in my palm, then I could do something with a remote that could make the wings, like, arch out and then fold back in a little bit. That would be so cool! But yes, thank you so much for your question, Hayden. And our other question from one of my wonderful patrons is from Terrius. Steph, put the Countess Stephania Swan into the realm of D&D. What would a stat block look like? Stats, abilities, resistances, etc. Good question. The Countess is very much inspired by Strahd von Zarovich in some ways from Curse of Ravenloft. So actually, I'm sorry, Wizards of the Coast, I might have to steal this a little bit. Let me just look up Strahd von Zarovich's stats for a hot second. Spoilers if you're planning on playing Curse of Strahd. Okay, let's have a little looky. I think it's quite early on. No, it's all like RPing as Strahd. 1 second. Is this some nice ASMR? All the turning of the pages. Where is he? Let's see. Where are you? How about the saga? How are you, Strahd? Strahd, Octavio. There we go. Strahd von Zarovich. He has this whole page is just Strahd's stats and stuff and how to play him. Not how to play him. There's like a whole different chapter on how to RP as Strahd. But in terms of his stat block, I'll adjust this a little bit because the Countess does have different skill sets to Strahd. So definitely she would have a very high, her primary stats I think would be Charisma, Intelligence, and Dex, I think. So I would say she would probably have, I think it would be, she's not going to be balanced. She's a very powerful vampire in D&D stats. So she would be, I think, 20 Charisma, 18 Intelligence, 18 Dex, probably then 15, actually no, probably 14 Wisdom, 15 Con, and then 12 Strength. She's not the most physically strong, like she's not a warrior, she's a diplomat. She's very manipulative, very charismatic, she gets what she wants. But she does have skill, but she's more about using swiftness rather than strength. So I think definitely that would feel the most balanced. She is mother with all respect. Oh, absolutely. So glad you guys love her so much. And I think looking at skill set, I think she would probably have more skill in... She wouldn't have as strong skill in Arcana because she's not really a spellcaster. She's powerful, but she's not a spellcaster. Her stuff more lies in like convincing people to do stuff for her and to bend the knee in front of her. So I think she'd probably have high stats for persuasion, intimidation, and deception. Probably a similar build if you're going to put it under a class. Probably similar skill set to a bard in that her skill lies in the art of like quick thinking and a quicker tongue. Let that thought sink in. Her insight, listen, like I would feel like she would have okay insight, but you know, she didn't see that little backstab coming, did she? So I think her insight would maybe be kind of standard based on what her stats would be. She wouldn't have any additional bonuses on top of that. I think she would have additional bonuses for persuasion, intimidation, and deception, and stealth. I think she could be very stealthy when she wants to be. She would naturally have senses like dark vision 120 feet and I would say fairly high passive perception. I'd say her passive perception would probably be... Ooh. She doesn't have the highest wisdom, so I think maybe about 17 or so. Like, again, she didn't see that little backstab coming. She'd probably have the same thing as Strahd with damage resistances to necrotic because she's undead, she's a vampire. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. She has a natural... toughness to her that comes with being a vampire and an experienced vampire at that. She does have abilities to change into a bat and then fly away, which is kind of standard for like higher level vampires. She would have the kind, if it was in like D&D vampire stats, she would have the abilities for like turning into a misty form and a bat to be able to fly away. And in the Castle Blue Roses, I believe that's how she gets away at the end. Ericas, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Yes, I'm just going to rest that lovely book there. Yes, I think that's kind of a rough overall of her abilities because she's not as powerful as Strahd is. Strahd's a fucking dreadlord. Like, no, like that's a whole nother level of badass. yeah, I think her skill set will probably be closer to a bard, and that she's more about using quick wits and a cunning tongue. And then as well as that, like the natural vampire resistances and abilities. I think that kind of balances things out, doesn't it? I think so. But thank you so much for your question, Terrius. Alrighty, let me just check something. Okay, so we only have the 2 questions from patrons, so I'm happy to jump between questions from YouTube and questions from chat. Actually, I'll ask the ones from YouTube first, just because I can get those out of the way quickly, and then I can just watch the questions that come in from chat. Because the ones that came in from YouTube, there aren't many of them, so I'll get those out of the way quite quickly. So Dinosaur Man 34 asks, war crimes ASMR question mark? Not really my style. I like to have things a little bit more fantastical, not really down to earth. If you're asking, like, am I going to make more Warhammer ASMR? Sadly not. Just with Games Workshop. Games Workshop being what they are with fan projects, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to have their eyes turned to me, so to speak. I'm going to leave the ones that I've already made on my channel, but I don't want to run the risk of making any more and then getting their attention. So sadly, no War Crimes ASMR from me, or further Warhammer ASMR from me. But thank you so much for your question. The next question I got from YouTube was JJ Kaiju. Since I won't be able to attend, I'll just ask here, what dynamic between your character and the listener is most fun to write and voice? That is a excellent question. So when it comes to the listener characters, it's essentially, you guys, I write it with it kind of being mostly a blank slate, unless I specify things about you, the character you. I try to not project too many thoughts and emotions and let you kind of fill in the blanks yourself. Sometimes I'll make it so that my character is saying something in response to what you are saying, and that's more to just steer the story along and to build the relationship between the character I'm playing and you, the listener. But I will say, I can't deny this, the character and the dynamic between the character and listener that I have the most fun writing and voicing is probably Night Angel and Little Star. As messed up as that relationship is, I find that once I get into that flow state when it comes to writing, I can write those chapters like so smoothly, because, okay, it's interesting you say that though, because I kind of have a mind of, in that series, Little Star is resistant to everything that Night Angel is putting on them. And it's kind of intentionally supposed to do that, to kind of show that, yes, this is a deeply toxic relationship. She is a yandere. It's supposed to be very unhealthy, very manipulative and coercive. But I get so many comments, and I know some of you in chat are going to be like, I made one of those comments of people being like, yes, please, I would want to stay with her. I would want her to, I never want to leave her. I adore her. It's tricky because I love writing that series so much, but at the same time, I'm not going to lie, there have been points where I've been thinking about either ending the series early or taking it in a different direction, because sometimes it does get uncomfortable to write, I'm not gonna lie, especially because I then have to perform those lines and then edit my performance of those lines. Like, sometimes when you're like writing something and it's like, it feels less like you're writing something creatively and more like you're venting and getting stuff out onto the page, and you kind of have to pause for a hot second and be like, oh, where did that come from? Like, and you have to take that step back critically and just be like, let's just put that on pause for a hot second. But I think the dynamic between Night Angel and Little Star is fascinating to me. And I find that really like fun and interesting to write. I also really quite liked the relationship between Cytarl the Eternal and Songbird as well. That was just fun. That was just a fun bard adventure that bit off a little bit more than they can chew, and now like they're bonded forever with a blue dragon who's so arrogant, and I love her so much. But I am glad that because that story for me had a clear beginning, middle, and an end. And I was very happy with the way that that all worked out. And some people were asking, oh, can we get like one more chapter? Can we get a continuation? For me, that feels like a completed story, and I'm very, very happy with that. And yeah, I do really appreciate it that you guys are respectful when like posting comments and stuff like that, because we have a passion. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it makes me uncomfortable to write, but I always try my best to be as conscious as possible when including specific difficult topics, to include them in the content warnings. So if, say, you wanted to kind of dip your toe into it and just explore it a little bit, it is like written on the bag, dead dove don't eat. Like essentially, like, this is written on the video, proceed with caution, essentially. So then it's like, okay, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a Yandere series, which I've gotten fantastic feedback from people, and wonderful comments saying that they really hold my Yandere series in really high regard. They really, really like it because it's different from all the kind of, I won't call them standard, but the more common Yandere audios that you get from a lot of female presenting ASMRists on YouTube. So it's a series I'm incredibly proud of, and I could go on for ages about all the ups and downs behind the scenes of writing that series, because I have plans for the future, for future chapters. You guys are not ready. Excuse me. But yes, I think the dynamic between Night Angel and Little Star is probably the most interesting to write and to voice. I get a lot of fun out of writing Night Angel scripts. I get a lot of fun performing them because I love playing dark and complicated characters. I actually had a lot of fun when I was doing the previous chapter to this one. I think it was called something like Don't Hang Up. And literally when I was... I think I might have said this in a previous Q&A or when someone asked me about it. When I was recording it, I'd written the script out and everything like that. But when I was recording it, I purposefully had my phone held up to my headset. I actually had one of my earphones off. Just so that then I could match the mannerisms and cadence that shifts slightly when you're on the phone with someone. And just kind of get that, it'd make it feel more natural in the most unsettling sort of way. The Night Angel series is such a fascinating direction because it's not like you haven't done dark and even violent aspects in your series before, and it really feels like you're putting your whole heart into this. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, Kaiju, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. The next two questions are kind of similar, so I'll do both of them back to back. From Craig Orchard 1701, when will we get more Glasha? I really enjoy her. And from Tony Hamilton 6948, will you continue on with Glasha and her little human? Essentially, this kind of goes for all of my ASMR series, unless I state publicly that the series is going to be ending prematurely for one reason or another, then assume that there will be more chapters to it. Sometimes I'll take a break from a series for a little bit if I'm getting a bit of writer's block because I don't quite know how to proceed forward with like the next plot beat, or I'm not quite sure of like the end point of the series. I will say with Glasha's series, Embraced by Emerald Flames, I have a clear idea of where it's going to go and how it's going to end. But I want to spread it out a little bit as well, because I know you guys love these series so much, but I want things to be on a nice rotation. So you get like Night Angel one week, and then you get Glacier another week, and then you get maybe a new character another week. And just to kind of balance things out. So I know I don't release videos like super regularly, because it does take a lot of time to write these and edit these and put these all together. So I do very much appreciate your patience, but unless I say publicly or like post on my socials, hi, I'm putting an end to this series because I'm putting this series on pause because I just like I'm a bit stuck for coming up with ideas, then just assume that it'll reach its natural conclusion. That being said, if I do make a new character and it's a one-off sort of character, unless I then develop a solid idea for a continuation, for like a full story, usually best to assume that that's just a self-contained story. Like, I will say, as much as I adore Melindre, the Gorgon, I'm not sure if I can fully see that being realized into a full series. I really love just those 2 chapters. I might feel differently later, but like some stories I'm just like, you know what? I'm happy with that just being as it is. Like, just like a one-off character, just for a bit of fun, just to try something different, and I can't quite see a full series with that. But if I've established like, yep, this is a series, assume that series is going to continue unless I say otherwise. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you. Oh, that's a really interesting choice in recording. Talking about me using a phone to record the chapter with Night Angel, I'd say it was a step in the right direction because it was terrifying. That's what I like to hear, Granite Planet. Honestly, I get such a kick out of watching the comments come in whenever like I'm about to premiere a new chapter of Night Angel, because so many people are like, I don't want to listen to it, but I'm really excited for the next chapter, but I'm too scared to listen to it, but I'm going to be there for the premiere, but you know, I'm going to be hiding in the comments just so I don't have to like look her in the eye. Oh, but don't you worry, she's never far. She's never far. And if you're not running, she's getting closer to your destination. She's in the walls. She's in the goddamn walls. Like, that was the funniest thing that I just saw everyone mentioning during the live chat for the premiere. It was just like, she's in the walls. Oh, but that was amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you to Craig and Tony for your question regarding Glacia. I love her too. She is big and strong and we love her, and she gives like, she is one of those characters that if you walk up to her with your arms raised and just go, a peace, she'll absolutely do that. She has big Karlak energy and I adore that about her. But next question was from the Mockingjay 74 animated ASMR series. Sadly, I do not have the time or the budget for something like that. Sadly, no. And who knows? Maybe one day, maybe a character will be incarnated in a different format, but sadly, no, not right now. So thank you so much for your question, Mockingjay. Oh, Jessamy's my favorite werewolf of yours. Oh, thank you so much, Berserk Boy. I love Jessamy too. Like, Jessamy is fun. She's got such a lovely voice, and I love to voice her so much. Alrighty. So, and then a question that came in today, actually, and it's the last of the YouTube questions, but it might take me a little while to answer it, from Kulakik. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Kulakik2129. Here's a question I would like to have an answer for. Have you ever thought of a time in the future where you would step back from YouTube and just enjoy the rest of your life? If you could also do me a favor, and tell me / us if you're going to go on a break or leaving. I don't want you gone, otherwise I'll get nightmares and can't sleep. My archive of ASMR tales will always be there to keep you company during those low points if you need it. As anyone who makes stuff online, we're just like all of you. We grow and change over time. there will be a point, not for a while, don't worry, but there will be a point eventually in life that I will step away from YouTube in order to either put more time into voice acting projects if I find I need to invest more time in those and I can't make ASMR tales to the same quality anymore. It might be a case of I reach a certain milestone or like a point where I'm like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm happy to close this chapter and move on to something different. Because it's like with anyone, whether you're a painter, an athlete, a writer, a Twitch streamer, a YouTuber, there will come a point where a lot of people either start families or have big changes in their lives that then they need to shift their priorities elsewhere. But it's just a natural evolution of being human. I love making my ASMR tales and putting so much time and care into just telling stories. But it might come to a point where I decide, you know what? I want to tell stories in a different way. So I can pretty much see one of the big reasons if I was going to step away from YouTube was because I needed to put more time towards like voice acting stuff. Like hypothetically, if things work out the way that I'm hoping they work out in the future, with voice acting stuff, there might be a time where, say, I'm a part of a really, really big project, like a really big game or something like that. And so then I need to like travel and go to like press stuff and stuff like that, which would mean I would be like out of London for a considerable period of time, or I might be out of the country filming something or doing mocap on something. So then if that happens more and more, and then when I come back to London, it's like, okay, now I need to start working on like the next ASMR tale and I can't like slow down and relax. That might be the point in my career where I naturally feel like, okay, I'm going to take a step away, maybe take a break, and think things through. But that's not going to happen for a really, really long time. Don't worry. But whenever I'm going to take a break for a month or so because I want to either like recharge myself mentally and creatively, or if like only a few months ago when I went away for Christmas and New Year's to see my family, then I'll absolutely announce it across all my socials to let you guys know. I never want to completely drop off the radar and leave you guys hanging. If that does happen, then maybe be a little bit concerned and reach out to one of my mutuals to like check in on me, because it probably means I've been kidnapped or something. It takes a lot of mental energy, and some people can manage doing YouTube stuff for a long time, but it's not something everybody can do, especially knowing how unpredictable and unsustainable it can be. It can be sometimes, and people do change. Absolutely, Weaver. I cannot agree more with that. And I very much appreciate YouTube as a platform, but in a lot of ways it is unpredictable, and there might come a time where I essentially lose the battle against the algorithm and my channel does stagnate, and I keep making stuff like I always do, but it just isn't getting the views that they used to anymore. And I try and switch it up, trying something new, it still doesn't work, and then I decide, you know what, I'm going to retire this and move on to something different. But for now, I'm very, very happy with how things are going at the moment. I honestly think we're going to hit 60k before the end of the year. Like, who knows, maybe even by Halloween or something like that, seeing how things are going. But yes, I'm very excited for what comes next. But if there is a point where I do need to take a step away for either a holiday, a short break, or something much longer, then I will absolutely let you guys know. And unless I say otherwise, the channel's going to remain there for you guys to enjoy my ASMR tales whenever you need them. Oh, thank you so much, my lovelies. I really appreciate that. Next, ASMR Cyberpunk, Seraph against the algorithm. Wahaha. Alrighty, so that comes to the end of the questions that came in before. Let's just minimize that a bit. And okay, for the next hour or so, I'm going to answer your questions, chat, because all of you are wonderful and you have jumped in to be a part of this tonight. So thank you so much for being here. Also, I'm sorry, I can't believe I didn't announce this at the start because this is something I just did this week. I'm now a Humble partner. So on Humble Bundle, if you use my referral code, if you scroll down on my About page, there is a Humble Partner banner. If you click on that, that is my referral code. If you buy anything off of Humble Bundle with that referral code, then I get a little bit of a extra bonus from that. And now, to be fair, this is kind of the first ever sponsorship or promotional thing that I have done outside of collaborations with friends like Ivory Monocle Tea. I personally am very, very particular about the brands that I work with, and I actively buy stuff off of Humble Bundle. I think they're a great service. I think they do wonderful things for charity. So if you want to support not only incredible charities, but myself, then be sure to consider using my link when picking up stuff from Humble Bundle. That would be hugely appreciated. Thank you. And Desiree55, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome tonight. We're having a great time tonight. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, my lovelies. And yes, if you use !humble, that's when the link will pop up as well. So thank you so much for that, Sam. Much appreciated. And the link is also in my socials as well. But if you want the link specifically, then you can do !humble and then it will come up in chat. Why do you sound British yet you're an Aussie? That's a very good question, Mockingjay. I am Australian. I'm very proudly Australian, but I live in London. So naturally, I've picked up a little bit of an accent in my time being here. But thank you for the hydrate check, Xenok. Desiree, long-time listener, first time to Twitch stream. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. Yeah, I think my voice cracked a little bit. Welcome tonight on the Blue Rose Respite. Alrighty, so chat. Questions. I assume you have some of those for me. So please ask away and I will do my best to answer them. Okay, so yeah, that will happen. I'm Italian but live in London. The accent creeps up on you. Yes, it does. It just becomes a natural part of your surroundings, and then naturally you kind of pick up it just a little bit. We did have some questions earlier tonight, so and I didn't catch those at the time, but feel free to post them now, and then I will keep up with them as much as I can. So, question from Weaver of Passion. Are there any ASMR tales / videos you've done in the past that you've ever thought of redoing or remaking now with better sound equipment and better skills in editing and whatnot? Very good question. I recorded The Castle of Blue Roses and Lost in the Inferno on my old microphone, which in retrospect wasn't the best microphone, but it was fine for the time. If I had the time and the patience, I would potentially love to do a remake of Lost in the Inferno and or The Castle of Blue Roses. But considering how long it took for both of those series to make in the first place, I just don't have the time. I'm happy to leave those as a sign of growth and how far my art has come since then. But I'm very happy with how my skill set has developed over the years and how my style of video has grown a lot. So yeah, I'm very proud of those, especially the Castle Blue Roses, that being my first big ASMR series. But yeah, I'm happy to be just a sign of growth and development over time. But thank you so much for your question, Weaver. Xenok, did I miss the big announcement? No, we're saving that for the end, don't you worry. Desiree, since I'm making cookies right now, what's your favorite cookie flavor? I'm a sucker for just a good classic chocolate chip cookie. I really like the ones that are more New York style, which are a lot thicker, and so they have a gooier center, or they're chewy on the inside. I love those. I also am quite fond of red velvet cookies, because I love gooey white chocolate chips in cookies as well. What else? Some people are very specific, like they like creme brulee cookies. I'm also quite partial to a good oatmeal and raisin cookie. I know they're seen as lame or grandma cookies, but especially during autumn and winter, or like there's something about an oatmeal raisin cookie that has a good amount of spice in it, like cinnamon and nutmeg, that's just so comforting and warming at the same time. So yeah, for me, probably chocolate chip, like a nice good thick chocolate chip cookie, a red velvet cookie, and an oatmeal and raisin cookie with lots of spices in it. Those are my favorites. Oh, but thank you for your question. Oh, Sam, I have a question. What is one ASMR project you would love to do without constraints like time and money? What is a big project for you? That is a very good question. What is an ASMR project? Okay, you know what? An ASMR project I would love to do if I had no restraints or constraints for time or money. A dating sim ASMR with like my style of ASMR and maybe featuring some of my characters, but like a full-blown dating sim ASMR game. Because come on, that would be awesome. It would be such a huge undertaking for me. I could kind of even realistically see it happening in the future, but it would be a huge project. I know nothing about making games, so it would be a huge project, like of working with amazing artists to bring the characters to life. The sheer amount of writing I would have to do, and all of the voice acting for all of the characters, because I'm a narcissist. I have to play everyone. I have to have control of everything. But something like that, like if I had no time restraints or money restraints, a big ASMR, one of my personal style, like ASMR tale dating sims or something like that, or a visual novel, something like that. But thank you for your question, Sam. Who knows? The future is weird. It might happen eventually once I have the resources, and the time to be able to do something like that. But who knows? Who knows? Granite Planet question. I really want to get back into making fan art of your characters. Which one/ones do you want to see drawn? I'm trying to make a list, but my ADHD makes me indecisive. I need guidance, Steph. Okay, honestly, any fan art is amazing and hugely appreciated. The only specificity I have is that it all be safe for work. I can't control what fans do. If fans want to make not safe for work stuff of my characters, I can politely ask them to not do that, but that just kind of makes me uncomfortable. So long as it's safe for work, any character is fine. I would kind of love to see fan art of Night Angel, because I haven't seen any fan art of Night Angel yet, and she is probably my most popular character from any current series that I've got going on at the moment. I've had amazing fan art of Cytarel and Glacia and other characters in the past, but I haven't, as far as I can remember, I can't recall seeing any fan art of Night Angel. So yes, any of her would be amazing. It doesn't have to be gory or gruesome or like especially scary, but she's cool and she's got a cool design. So have fun with that. Thank you so much. Oh, be sure to tag me in my Twitter and Instagram. I have the hashtag for if you want to tag me with any fan art that you post, then be sure to do that and then I can see it. And be sure to at me as well so I can see it and then potentially share it, because that would be amazing. Thank you. Arakas, question. All your characters walk into a bar. What happens? Well, Glacia would like punch the bar. No, I get what you mean. They walk into the Blue Rose Respite. Glacia would immediately go to the bar and start ordering drinks. Cytarel would be conflicted between going in nondescript with like a hood and everything like that, but when she sees like she's surrounded by other colorful characters, she'd like remove the cloak proudly and just kind of stride in like, yes, I have arrived. Queen Kava and Silka, the Dryder and the adorable moth girl, they would arrive together. Silka very nervous and jittery, not being used to being around this many people in a like loud and boisterous environment. But Kava just has her like nice and close by. Just make sure. They would probably get like a corner booth or something like that, so that Kava can kind of, you know, the thing that spider legs do when they kind of just nestle underneath them a little bit. She would just kind of perch her thorax on the seat and just have her legs underneath the table and just keep bringing drinks. And she has one arm just around Silka, just to keep her close. Nice cozy vibes there. Who else? Night Angel would just be lurking in the shadows like a creep, because that's what she does. The Countess, again, similar to Saitaro, just kind of elegantly come in, take her seat, and just wait to be served. Because she does not approach the bar. She waits for someone to approach her. Who else? Lilith would, I think, just, she'd be more of a social butterfly, I think. She'd probably move from table to table. Sorry about that. Move from table to table, introducing herself, like talking to people, almost like maitre d' sort of energy. Just kind of move from one table to the other, just saying hello, seeing how everyone's doing. Who else? I'm trying to think of like characters from ongoing series. Rosalie would just kind of flit everywhere because she's a pixie. The pirate captain, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but the pirate captain character I made up, she would just table, boots on table, flag in a veil, do not disturb. Any other fantasy kind of characters? Mylindre would walk in, she would have a cane and a strip of cloth over her eyes because she's a Gorgon. And she would be very careful about not distressing anyone. She'd probably just want to sit somewhere quietly, and just stay out of the way and just quietly enjoy her drink and have a lovely time listening to the music, but not really interact with anyone, and just have a lovely time. Who else? Oh yes, Minotaur Mommy. She would come in. Oh no, you know what? She would probably be working at the bar, let's be honest. Or she would be like, no, she is the mom friend. She is making sure everyone's drinking water and like having a good time. They've all got a drink, they're all taken care of, they're all having a lovely time. Mama Morena, she would be the mom friend. Just like she would put down like a drink and then she put down some water as well. Just to make sure that y'all are having a good time and taking care of yourselves. But yes, and Jessamy, what would she be doing? What would she be up to? Mimi would be sauntering in, similar to Lilith, just kind of chatting to people, like chatting up people as well, just probably looking for some fun maybe. Jessamy is, okay, if you've ever been in the bathroom, in the girls' bathroom at a club or a bar, she is the sweetheart in the bathroom who tells you not to text your ex and will fix up your makeup for you if it's starting to get a bit messed up. She is the girl's girl, okay? And she like also, she kind of has a little bit of mom friend energies, but she's also the one who's getting like progressively more and more drunk throughout the night. So she would be drinking a lot and getting sloppier and sloppier, but just wanting to make sure everyone's having a good time. And if anyone's creeping on any of her girls, like, or any of her friends or anyone else like in the room, she would fully like square up of just like, who do you think you are? Do you want to fight with a real wolf? I love my characters so much. Just trying to think, is there anyone else? I think that's kind of all of them that are immediately coming to mind. Yes, I think. But yes, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you. Okay, interesting one from Baron Alistair. I have a weird question and a fun question. In the weird one, I found that your ASMR tales are a thing I've desperately tried to get friends into but never actually had anyone that I can enjoy them with. So my weird question is, do you have an interest that you wish you could gush about but don't have anyone to gush to? Also, if you don't want to / can't answer that, do you have a song you'd like to turn evil to? Okay. I think probably one of my interests that is a bit tricky when talking to some people about, unless you're like people or have friends, like my close group of friends that I have in the States, and we're all kind of interested in a lot of horror movies and stuff like that. It's tricky talking to some people about horror movies because some people avoid them completely. Others are very passionate about them. A lot of people, like, when I talk about it really, really passionately, like it's something that I'm really interested in, that I'm really, really, like, enjoy, and, you know, the complexities and, like, the history of the horror genre and stuff like that, they just kind of nod and smile and then slowly back away. Like, I know it's not for everyone, but that's maybe one of the things that kind of puts off people a little bit. But that's just maybe one of my, like, niche interests. Also, actually, one other thing that I have a really passionate interest in is I really like Shakespeare productions. Adaptations of Shakespeare in all ways. I like traditional ones, I like more contemporary ones, and I like talking about them and stuff like that. But whenever I bring it up to someone, people think I'm a pretentious snob because I like Shakespeare, so I must be pretentious. No, the way that his words flow when it's performed live, it just tickles my brain in all the best ways. Sometimes, because I've got a couple of adaptations that I can watch, and I'll just put them on as background stuff because I just find it like music. It helps fill the space, and I just really enjoy listening to it. Like, it's similar way that you probably get brain tingles from ASMR. It kind of gives me, not brain tingles, but kind of helps, like, relax me a bit. So things like, if I want something a bit fun, then I'll watch the adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing with David Tennant and Catherine Tate, because it's amazing and hilarious and they're wonderful together. And then there's a very traditional adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is my favorite of the Shakespeare plays, that was done at the O. And it's incredible. It's one of my favorite adaptations of any of Shakespeare's plays. But when I start talking about it, like, or talking about Shakespeare, then people think, you know, I'm pretentious, I'm classically educated. I'm like, no, I'm just, like, this is just something that makes me really happy. And okay, I'll stop talking about it now. Okay, I'll just go away. But I know what you mean when it comes to recommending ASMR stuff to people, because ASMR, I think, is also quite a close, like, almost an intimate experience, because it's kind of building a connection between yourself, the listener, and the performer. So unless a friend has expressed a curiosity or a natural interest in it, then it's understandable if, like, you don't want to, like, listen it together, and you just want to, like, recommend it to them. Like, it might be something they'll potentially like. I do have a friend, we've gone over to her channel a couple of times, Spunky Taylor. Amazing. We're both huge fans of, like, one or two other ASMRists that the both of us like. And so then when a new video drops, like, with a particular story that we're a fan of, we're just looking at each other like, did you see that? Did you hear that? Like, oh my god, what just happened? But it's like watching a niche TV show that you're both interested in. It's definitely not for everyone. Some people find it even, like, a little creepy to listen to because it is so, like, different, and some people find it kind of an invasive experience. But yes, hopefully that answers your question. But if I had a song I would like to turn evil to, are you talking about, like, a full-on Dark Sailor Moon transformation sequence kind of turn evil to? Or is it like the scene in the movie where, you know, the character's, like, mindset pivots and it's like villain mode has been activated? Curious. I think you're probably referring to the latter, maybe? I'll just go with the latter. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure. I have my Spotify open right now. 1 second. What have I got on my favorites, like on my likes list at the moment? I mean, I could go with like the version of Raphael's Final Act that has like him actually singing in it, because come on, that would be a great song to turn evil to. What else? No, you know what? Another great song to... I mean, which do you prefer? I was thinking more like Fall from Grace, but please... okay, cool. So, okay. I think one of the, like, a really good song that comes to mind in that regard is, like, if I'm going to have a song that's, like, Falling from Grace, Smells Blood from the Devilman Crybaby soundtrack. It slaps so hard. It is so good. Yes. I would say probably that one is like the immediate one that comes to mind. I say that, and then probably like when I'm at the gym tomorrow, a song will come up on my playlist like, fuck, should have said that one. But yes, that song in particular, it's got that kind of dark club kind of beat to it, so you can definitely kind of imagine like that character falling from grace while listening to that, or something really sweeping and orchestral. Maybe something like the Dies Irae or something like the Dies Irae, Dies Irae. Something orchestral and something that should echo throughout a church. Why do I keep hitting my microphone? I'm sorry if that's if it comes across really bad on your ears. Something like that. So, Smells Blood from Devilman Crybaby or the Dies Irae. I don't know. But thank you so much for your question. That was a different one. Thank you for that, Baron. There we go. Okay. Oh wait, Taylor is in chat. Sorry, because I have I'm scrolling through chat so I can keep up with questions as they come in. But hi Taylor, I was just talking about you. I don't know if you're still here, but hello. And yes, it's good to see that if I hypothetically did decide to make a dating sim, then you guys would be on board for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Totally not at all squirreling that information away for later, maybe. I don't know if they're still here, but they popped in a few minutes ago, so I'm sorry if I didn't say hi, Taylor. I'm sorry. Cool. Scrolling through for my questions. How you doing, guys? I hope your weekend was good. Mine was really good. I'm gonna do a little hydrate check. Okay. Got a question from Deathbringer519. Hello, Stephanie. The question I want to ask is this. What has been your favorite characters to voice for an ASMR of all time? That is a very loaded question, because you're asking me to pick favorites. Two recent videos come to mind that I had the most fun recording, because sometimes I very much stick to the script. It is, I'm getting the voices down in character to, just because I need to work on my video, I'll get it done and I'll move on. Two scripts come to mind that I had the most fun or really feeling myself when I was in character. And those two videos are the Don't Hang Up video with Night Angel, where I got to like record like I was on the phone, because I just really enjoyed recording that one. It's a bit of a different experience. And the other one was the first one with Jessamy, hunted by the big bad wolf. Let me tell you, I was so in the zone when I was recording that. Like all those deep wolfish growls. You're welcome. I just got so in that headspace when I was recording it. And yes, consensual fair play and consensual hunter-prey dynamics, yes. And then afterwards, she is cute and adorable and requests head pats and is checking in like, did I scare you, baby? I didn't mean to. Everything's fine. Oh, it was a fun script to do because it had a nice ebb and flow and that little touch of awkwardness of, when you are in that kind of dynamic of just like checking in or coming out of a scene together of like, are you okay? I didn't push you too hard. Like, is everything all right? Are you all right? Like, just, it made me really happy when I sat down and wrote it, and it made me very happy to record it. So yes. So I think those two probably stand out the most in terms of the ones I had the most fun in recent memory recording. Also, any video or audio that I get to do where I get to be like a little unhinged, like, because I have a fun, like occasionally throwing in a slightly a fun little manic laugh in there. Excuse me. So I think those two kind of come to mind, and probably a couple of, oh, actually, no. I need to check what the name of the script was so I can be specific. 1 second. Because I've got all the scripts on my computer in front of me. Okay. Honestly, there were a ton of the scripts from Shadows and Stardust that I really enjoyed performing. You Can't Hide From Me, the one where it's you're being hunted by Night Angel. That one I had a lot of fun recording. And Now All You Have Is Me. Those two in particular, I got to have a lot of fun with for like getting out of my comfort zone and just letting that energy kind of move through me. As a voice actor, like, it's fun playing villains. So if you get to just like add that like sharpness and snappiness, and if you listen to Now All You Have Is Me right at the end, when Little Star has broken their chains and is leaving her, and there's that moment where the door closes and you hear her like sobbing and gasping, and then it kind of turns into that low kind of manic laughing. I got into a headspace. I was able to come out of it healthily, but when I was recording that, I was getting into a headspace where I actually felt my eyes welling up with tears because I was just like letting just like heavy. I had a really rough week that week, so I found it really cathartic in a strange sort of way of just letting those emotions come out of me of just like and then when you kind of fluctuate between like crying and laughing, then you'd feel like it's a weird kind of juxtaposition between like those heavy emotions. So you just kind of feel that natural release of emotions, especially if you've had a really rough week. So you might even hear listening back to it like, oh, that's actually like really, that's a little too good. But it was great to record and a great thing to experience, and I'm very, very proud of it. So probably those handful of scripts come to mind for favorite characters to voice, because I can't pin it down to just one. Those are all been very memorable experiences to me. So hopefully that answers your question, Deathbringer. Thank you. Let's see. And hey, Talon, sorry, I'm still catching up with chat a little bit. Talon, thank you so much, and hi, welcome. No. Night Angel has always had kind of turquoise eyes. It's just that in her more yandere mode form, you can see them because they're a lot more highlighted. But in her default form, it's just, I think the pupils are blown quite a bit wider, so her eyes look darker. I could be wrong. I need to double check the character art from Red Pen. Oh, okay. Another question from question from Arenas. Question: if you could meet any fictional characters, who would you meet? Good question. I'm not at all thinking immediately of Astarion because I still have Baldur's Gate 3 on my brain. Astarion, depending on what version of Astarion I get to meet, things could go in very different directions. He could, like, crack me open like a Capri Sun in, like, half a second. Or he could just kind of throw his glass of wine in my face and, like, walk away laughing. Or, you know, we would have a lovely conversation and talk about the deep stuff and the heavy stuff. And over time, like, eventually grow closer. But who knows? You have to go through a lot of weird adventures in order to get to that point. And you have to earn that trust. So probably Astarion. Immediately coming to mind is characters I would love to meet. If for no other reason than to just give them a big fucking hug. Laura Palmer from Twin Peaks. When I say Twin Peaks had a huge impact on me growing up, that is an understatement. I feel so bad for Laura Palmer. I want to give her the biggest hug and just let her cry. Just hold her and cry. And I'll kind of leave it at that, because if I talk about it too much, I'm going to get very emotional. Okay, I would also say Alucard from Castlevania, because he's actually very nice, and I think the two of us would potentially get along very well. And yeah, I think probably him as well. There's a lot of characters I would potentially love to meet. But Astarion, Laura Palmer, and Alucard, they're probably like the ones that immediately come to mind, I think. I'll probably think of someone else like in 5 minutes and go like, oh, them too. Oh, and also Eddie Munson. Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. Yes, please and thank you. We would get up to such shenanigans together and it would be amazing. He is a D&D metal nerd and I love him. I love that man so much. Him and his fluffy hair. Yes, please and thank you. Yes, thank you so much for the question. And Desiree, out of all of your characters, which would you enjoy? Out of all your characters, which would you enjoy playing? Which one would enjoy playing Baldur's Gate 3? Good question. I have a feeling, out of all my characters, Mimi is probably the only one that's in a modern setting. Mimi and Jessamy. I have a feeling actually Jessamy would really get into playing Baldur's Gate 3. She would get super into the character creation and make the most adorable, like, Little Red Riding Hood character. And she would, like, I think actually she would, I was going to say, like, oh, would she romance Astarion? Like, no, she would romance Will or Gale. Because, like, she's very sweet. She's very much a romantic. And, yeah. I have a feeling Jessamy would play it. Mimi would, like, be forced to take a night off and, like, just relax for a bit, and she'd probably try playing it and then, like, be like, oh, it's too complicated. I don't want to get into this. And, like, just give it a try. Just watch the tutorial. You'll get into the flow of things and give it a try. And then by the end of it, she'd just be full on, like, holding onto a pillow, rocking back and forth with, like, Astarion's catharsis moment. And, yeah, I have a feeling those two, as the most modern characters, would probably enjoy it the most. I'm not sure if the others would so much. Although Glasha would play it and immediately romance Karlach. Yes. Oh, I could see that. I could very much see that. Oh, but thank you so much for your question. Oh, and yes, I have seen Husband Hotel. And I thought it was very fun. I really liked it. And all the songs, I really like most of the songs. Some of them don't quite hit the same for me, but it's an amazing show. character designs are incredible. I've been following this series as it's been like in development over the years since like Tumblr days, and so it's incredible to see it finally make it to this point, and it makes my heart very happy. And yes, all of the good things. I was crushed when they recast the voices, but I understand why they did it. And I don't know the inner politics of that. I'm not going to speculate on that. It's not my place. But I am very happy with what finally came out and how that all came together. So yes. I really, really liked it. Okay, from King Deadlock, question. You said Baldur's Gate 3 is your new favorite game. So I was wondering, what are some of your other all-time favorite games or games that had such a big impact on you? Great question. Let me bring up my Steam account. You guys can't see it, but let me just bring it up for a second and let me just see my library of favorite games. So, in my little section for favorites, Baldur's Gate 3, Cult of the Lamb, Dragon Age Inquisition, Hades, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Oh my good gods, could I talk about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That was the game that I wanted to play so much when I was a teenager, but I couldn't get my hands on a copy because I wanted to play it, but we had just the one computer in my house, and I wasn't really allowed to play games that were that especially dark or adult. So when I was all grown up and I finally got a computer of my own, I finally sat down and played it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved it so much. The writing was brilliant. The world building was excellent. Combat mechanics, something left to be desired, but I absolutely loved it. Also, another game that I absolutely adored growing up, and I played this obsessively. I cannot underestimate how obsessive I was with this game. Neverwinter Nights. The original Neverwinter Nights, set in Waterdeep. And then the other games that came out afterwards. I just adored that game so much. I was even replaying it actually when it came out on Steam. And I just felt all the memories coming back. I could even like lip sync along to some of the dialogue verbatim because I just was so ingrained in my brain. And so that's probably one of the first games that had a really big impact on me and probably cemented my love of Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't end up playing actual D&D until I moved to London and really had a good time playing it. But yeah, that's probably the ones that immediately come to mind. A lot of the ones that are on my favorites list now are more contemporary games, but the ones I grew up with especially are Neverwinter Nights, The Sims 2 especially, let's be honest, and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines as an earlier game. And that probably like almost also sparked my interest in voice acting because I thought the voice performances in that game were just so good. But yes, I had a lot of fun with those games, and those would definitely be some of my favorites, and definitely ones that had a huge impact on me growing up. And yes, I'm glad to see there's some more love for Neverwinter Nights in chat. Good. You also have excellent taste. I tried playing Blood Hunt. I couldn't get into it. I'm not really... I don't know whether I just couldn't get into the flow of things or like I couldn't quite get into the mechanics. Maybe I could try playing it again because there's probably been a few patches released since I first played it. But I'll maybe give it another try. I'll consider giving it another try. Okay, let's keep going. But thank you so much for your question. Okay, from Weaver, question. I know you've collaborated with other VAs and friends for some of your tales in the past, so I was wondering if you'd ever consider collaborating with other people who do similar styles of content for like for example, Vanilla Velvet Audios, Nightshade Queen, ASMR, etc.? That is a wonderful question, Weaver. Because you're on my Discord, could you send me the links to their channels? Because to be perfectly honest, I purposefully don't watch other female ASMRs because I never want to accidentally, on a subconscious level, accidentally copy an idea for a video or a character from one of them. So honestly, all the ASMRs that I listen to are male or male presenting, because typically I can play all of the female roles unless I want a very distinctly different voice. Like I wanted my amazing friend Autumn Ivy to be a part of the Tangled in the Monstrous Wild series. But if I have an opportunity that comes up for... Oh, thank you so much for the hydrate and stretch check, guys. Thank you, B Ghosty. Adorable name, by the way. Thanks for the hydrate check and the stretch check, Vince. Oh, needed that. But yeah, typically because I can play, like, it's a one-woman show kind of thing when it comes to a lot of the voices, for like female voices that I need for a video. I'll typically be fine to do those myself unless I have a very distinctive voice in mind for a character. Because the thing about collaborating with other voice actors and ASM artists is they take a lot more time to make, because you want to give enough time for the other voice actor to be able to be in correspondence with you and be open to your proposal of like, hey, would you be interested in like doing a crossover or a collaboration? Here's the character that I have in mind for you, and then give them like enough time to get their lines back to you. So typically my turnaround for making a video is like 2 weeks. I would need like an additional 2 weeks in advance in order to reach out to someone new to ask them to be a part of a series, just so that then I can give them the courtesy of giving them enough time to record everything that I would require from them, if they did sign on to the project. So potentially I would love to do more collaborations with other voice actors and actresses. It's just a little bit tricky because I just need a bit more time in order to get the ball rolling on those. Honestly, I've had nothing but incredible experiences, minus one, which I won't talk about, with other voice actors being a part of my series, and they've all been very responsive, very, very good, and it's led to some very fun collaborations and stuff. There's some voice actors I definitely want to reach out to that I have specific roles in mind for them. And hopefully those will happen later this year, so be sure to stick around for those. But a lot of the time I'll have a character in mind and I'll already be listening to a particular ASMRist, and then their voice will just naturally be what I hear the character's voice as. Like when I was writing the latest chapter in Darkness Over Duskgate, the character of 13, I didn't want anyone to play him except for Dark and Twisted Whisper, because Dark and Twisted Whisper I've been a fan of for a while, and there's just something about his voice and so many of the characters he plays that, and I say this with nothing but the greatest respect, he plays fidgety, twitchy, unstable characters so well that I couldn't think of another voice except for that one for him. Yes, and so when he was on board with playing that particular role, it made my heart very, very happy. But yes, there's a lot of amazing, amazingly talented people out there that I would love to work with. It's just a matter of having enough time to reach out to them. And because also, if they're going to be a heavily featured character, I would also then on top of that want to commission art from Renpen of their character that they're playing. So then that's an additional cost to me to get the character designed, and because every single character of ASMR characters, including guest characters, it's all a commission from Renpen. So it's a more like it's more money, it's more time and stuff like that. So these collaborations and stuff like that, they do take a lot of work, but they're so worth it. They're so worth it because I get to work with these incredible people. And yes, in the future, I would love to work with more people. There's some people I really hope that would one day potentially reach out to me to work with them on their channel. But who knows? We just need to get the conversation going and see where that takes us. So thank you so much for your question, Weaver. Yes. You got to make a dating sim getting in contact with Jesse Cox. I'm pretty sure he'd be down for it. Like, oh, honestly, I would love to work with Jesse on something. Like, because I'm a huge fan of, like, the Monster Prom, Monster Camp, Monster Road Trip series. They're incredible. And we could potentially make some amazing things together for, like, a visual novel or a dating sim or something like that. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe later down the line, I eventually will put together my own wonderful visual novel. Let's keep going. Okay, I think I'm almost catching up to where you guys are currently. Because I do very much appreciate with you guys putting in chat question before you say what you're going to say, because it helps me keep track of everything. So please keep doing that. It helps me kind of pick them out in chat as I'm scrolling through. Thank you. Okay, from Desiree. Out of all your characters who have never interacted, who two do you think would be best friends? Jessamy and Mimi. I think those two would get along so well. And that's not just me saying that with a little bit of meta knowledge. But I think those two would get along very, very well. I think, honestly, the Countess and Ciates in that kind of like two queens sitting beside each other, like preparing for a mutual slay. Like both of them like look amazing in blue. So there's that. Not at all biased about blue being the Blue Rose Respite. Not at all biased. I think Mimi and Jessamy would be best friends, and Ciates and the Countess. Maybe not best friends, but like, you know, co-conspirators, shall we say. Oh, but that was a great question. Thank you. Slowly getting through. I'm catching up to some of your responses to previous questions, and look at you wanting to spend quality time with not one but two fictional sassy daddy vampires. Shush you, Granite. Don't you be judging me. I'm just saying I would want to have respectful conversations with both Lockhart and Astarion. Don't you dare judge me. And also, can Prince Noada from Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, please be there? Please? Please. Oh yeah, honestly, Jessamy playing Baldur's Gate just for Scratch the Dog and the Owlbear Cub, absolutely. She would just spend hours just petting them and just giving Scratch all of the food. And even though there isn't a mechanic to feed Scratch, she would just drop all of the food around him and just be like, there you go, eat it. I'm catching up with questions. Samuel asks, will you ever do a Bloodlines playthrough? That is an excellent question. I would consider it. I might want to do a playthrough myself just to familiarize myself with the mechanics, because my god, the combat in that game is awful. It is truly awful. It is like Rule of Rose levels of bad at times. So there's so many parts of it that I genuinely love. Other parts of it, not so much. But I would consider it. I would potentially consider it. I'm not sure if it would be like maybe the most popular game to stream, but maybe, potentially, we'll see. Oh, from Berserk Boy, question: are you willing to do any ASMR tales using stuff from World of Darkness in the future? Good question. I will say Darkness Over Duskgate, you could maybe interpret that as being within the World of Darkness. Like, I've been a huge fan of World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade for over a decade now. Like, it might be coming up to like 2 decades now. God, that's a scary thought. Like, you can take a lot of the stuff that I do with vampires as being inspired by World of Darkness, by the different clans and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I would do anything specific, like using the names of the clans and saying it explicitly that it is set in World of Darkness, like saying like being hunted by your gangrel sire or something like that, because I'm not sure if you can do that as a fan creation. Like, I think there's a difference between like doing the occasional fan stuff and just having the vague term of like seductive vampire rather than Toreador vampire, so to speak. That being said, I would one day love to play a game of Vampire the Masquerade with Jason, who is the storyteller for LA by Night and New York by Night and Seattle by Night. I believe Seattle by Night is the current series that he's doing at the moment. I could be wrong, and he's working on the new series of New York by Night. But it would be amazing to be at the table with Jason Carl. I would love to be at the table and be a character in one of his stories that he's the tale that he's weaving. We are actually mutuals on both Twitter and Instagram, and sometimes we chat, so who knows what the future holds. But I just don't want to step on the toes of that particular copyright, just because I don't want to rustle any unnecessary feathers. Like, you can definitely pick up that there's a lot of inspiration from Vampire the Masquerade in anything that I do with vampires. But I just don't want to step on the toes of any particular copyright stuff, if that makes sense. But thank you so much for your question. From Zenuk, question: would you ever host a game of D&D on your channel in any form? Yes. Yes, I would absolutely love to. I would absolutely love to do that. One thing, I have never been a game master or a dungeon master for D&D ever. 2, potentially I have been tossing around the idea of doing a D&D stream, but I haven't had the time to figure out the logistics of it, to do all the planning for it, and to figure out who I would want to bring to the table as players, or who I would want to invite to the table as players. There's a couple of people that I already have in mind, and I don't want to say too much other than that, but it is a huge undertaking. As for everyone who is in chat who is a dungeon master or a game master in any capacity, you know how exhausting it is and how tricky it is to organize and have everything prepared for. So I would absolutely want to do that at some point. I'm just not quite sure of when the stars are going to align and when I can have the time to be able to realize that. And also, I think because I've never done it before, I would be super worried about fucking it up. But that's all part of the adventure. That's all part of the fun. But yes, potentially. I would very much love to do that at some point, but it would take a lot of organization on my part in order to feel that level of preparedness and confidence in order to do that. So yes, I would love to do that. Not quite yet, though. But thank you so much for your question, Z. Which is my favorite vampire clan? Oh, good question. I've played a Ventrue, I've played a Gangrel, and I think that's just those two. wait, no, I played another one, but I can't remember off the top of my head because it was one of the weirder clans. Yeah, I've played a Ventrue and a Gangrel because they're so messed up. I would maybe want to say that my favorite clan is Ceates. But I love me a good old-fashioned Toreador as well. There's just something about the classic archetype of like the seductress who has the effortlessly soothing voice. But I would also actually note, I love Toreadors. I've also played a Malkavian, and I love that character so much. It makes me sad that we ended up stopping that series, but I loved playing a Malkavian so much. So I would have to say Malkavians are probably my favorite clan out of like the core clans. So yes, I would say Malkavian is my favorite clan. I'd kill to be at a TTRPG table with Steph. Oh, thank you, Vince. So question from the Mockingjay. Do you only name your series after a whole playlist is named? Also, with Shadows and Stardust have a complete edition for Season 1. I like to play games 2 of that to jump into the next track. I played Division 2 with music on USB and I kind of line my Demon Dice playlist properly. It's all good, Mockingjay. If I find like I've gotten the ball rolling with like a good number of chapters, like say after 3 or 4 chapters, I kind of realize like, okay, is this going in a particular story direction? And is this going to become a full series? Because once I commit to a series, it's like, okay, I'm locked in for like at least like 6 or 7 chapters, at least. So sometimes it'll just be, oh, it's just like a series of like fun little one-offs with this character I'm really enjoying, and then I'll decide, you know what, this is going to be a series, and then I'll officially like give it a name for the series and I'll put it in a playlist. And definitely once the story of Shadows and Stardust reaches its narrative conclusion, I will splice it together into a full audio, a full feature-length video for you guys to enjoy. So yes, that's pretty much what you can expect from me for all my ASMR tales. Like the one with Glacia, Embraced by Emerald Flames. When that's finished, that'll also be spliced into a complete version as well. Yes. But I'm very, very excited about those 2 series. There's some other series that I'm working on, like Darkness Over Duskgate as well. I just need to start planning the script from that one. There's also some other big projects that I'm working on as well that I'm very excited for. But thank you so much for your question, Mockingjay. Oh, Mike, sorry I didn't say goodbye to you earlier, but thank you so much for joining us tonight, Mike. Take care. Oh, thank you. Question: do you have any celebrities that you like to do impressions of? I know some VAs have their favorite impressions, like how Nolan North likes to do an impression of Christopher Walken and whatnot. Oh, good question. I don't know if I can do celebrity impressions. Like, I don't know, because I practice more like accents or character types. Like, I can kind of do Harley Quinn's voice, but that's a character's voice. I don't know. Like, maybe because I feel like when I put on that kind of more seductive, coy atmosphere, it feels like I'm channeling a little bit of Eva Green, but I'm not sure if that's like an impression of her. There's always Jennifer Coolidge. But I don't know, I haven't done Jennifer Coolidge's voice or anything like that. I haven't even practiced that before, so I'm not sure if that would work. I don't know. Whenever I'm doing or trying, emphasis on trying to do like an American accent, I try to match voices of female American actresses that I think sit in the same kind of register that I do. So I try to think a lot about the way that like Jennifer Lawson and Scarlett Johansson, the way that their voices sit, where because we all have that kind of natural like heaviness and huskiness to our voice that kind of comes through a bit. So whenever I'm trying to like ease into that accent, I try and think of the way their voices sound a little bit. Sometimes it's a bit hit and miss, but that's maybe what that kind of sounds like, but I'm not sure that would count as an impression. So sadly, no, I don't really have any like celebrity impressions that I would say. I could do character impressions, but not so much celebrity impressions. Question, out of all of your characters, who would be instant enemies to lovers if they met? Now we're talking. Okay, I'm just gonna like bring out my collection of little creepy homemade dolls of all my OCs and then make them kiss. Okay, who would be instant enemies to lovers? Let me think about this. You know what? If we're talking enemies to lovers, I could kind of see maybe the Countess and Mimi. Like, because Mimi isn't about that, like, hoity-toity life and stuff. And the Countess is also, like, very, like, regal, but she's been knocked off her perch as of the end of the Castle of Blue Roses. So I think it would be probably a combination of both, like, you know how, like, when two cats kind of meet initially and they kind of hiss and spit at each other, like, meow, like, because they're very territorial. But then after a while, like a couple of weeks later, they're best friends and they're like cuddling together. Maybe something like that, like two angry cats, like adding it at each other at first, and then kiss. Maybe, maybe I don't know. That's probably like that immediately comes to mind. Yeah, I can't think of any other potential matches. Like for an enemies to lover trope. I think that's the only one that I'm like, yes, that is one I could kind of see working. So thank you so much for your question, Sam. Oh, Vince, you would like to interview me again. Well, you know where to find me on Discord, so let's try and organize something sometime. Because I always love hanging out with you, and I miss you, and you're awesome. Maybe the D&D stream can be a 100k special. Who knows? Who knows? There is potential for many things happening this year. And yes, we both, like, we both know people who would help with this, but I'm a perfectionist. I need to oversee everything myself. Maybe. I might be open to collaboration on this. I need some lip balm because I've been talking a lot. Yeah. Alrighty, how are we doing for time? Oh, we've got less than half an hour to go before we reach the end of the raffle. Let's keep going. I'm just trying to catch up with chat to see if there's any questions I've missed. Okay, now I'm all caught up. So yes, now I'm all caught up with you guys. So question from Weaver. I've noticed you've done a lot of supernatural and fantasy-based stories on your channel, and I was wondering if you've ever considered or are attempting to do a story set in worlds that haven't been touched yet, like sci-fi, noir, etc., in the same vein as your longer-form series like Embraced by Emerald Flames and The Castle of Blue Roses. Very good question. I've kicked around the thought of a sci-fi series based off a character that I used to play in a D&D cross with Shadowrun series that I was playing with my friends. I loved the character that I made in that game so much. I would maybe even like potentially want to write a full like novel about her and her dynamic, but just take it in a different direction. But yes, there is a character that I have in mind for a sci-fi series, potentially. I won't go into the details. I won't go into the details of it, but think a cyborg assassin bounty hunter sort of vibe. And would that be something you guys would potentially be interested in? Let's take a poll. Would someone be able to, Sam, would you be able to kick up a poll in chat and ask, would chat potentially be interested in a ASMR tale, maybe not a series, but an ASMR tale which features a sci-fi setting featuring a cyborg assassin? Maybe. Oh, I have a feeling I already know what the results of that poll is going to be, but, you know, I just want to take a poll. For science. Because there is a science in science fiction. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Oh, but you guys have had some fantastic questions this evening. Honestly, like I sometimes get worried with these Q&As that like for like newcomers are just going to ask like the same questions that I've been asked in previous Q&As and stuff. But honestly, you guys come up with such great, interesting questions for me to answer that they actually take me a second to kind of unspool my brain a little bit. Like, let me think about this. So thank you so much to everyone for such amazing questions tonight. Oh, Weavy, you've been preparing your questions for a while, so hell yes. I appreciate that. It probably really helps that I try and give a bit of notice, or it's easy to predict when I'm going to be hosting another Q&A, which is like for these big milestones. So, excuse me, it gives me enough time for like time to pass, and then you guys can formulate questions and stuff like that you want to ask me. Arkish, question. When it comes to your characters and the story associated with them, are you the type of writer who likes to make a book 2 second season sort of thing for your characters? Or are you one that likes to say this is the end? That's a very good question. A lot of the time, by the time I get to the end of a series, I'm a little bit burnt out of writing for that particular character. If I feel like there's a lot that I can unpack with a character, then I will entertain the idea of doing a second season. But unless I've got a full realized concept for like a follow-up season, or a second season of something, then I'll just leave it at just that one self-contained story, because then it's like, okay, I'm happy with the beginning, the middle, and the end. I'm happy to have like the one feature-length like compilation video and just have that available and call it at that. But who knows, like, I might be... Honestly, I find some of my best ideas occur when I'm just, like, mindlessly, like, listening to music and running on the treadmill at the gym, and it kind of, like, helps rattle my brain around to kind of shake some interesting ideas loose. And then I'll, like, be running and thinking, like, oh, you know, I haven't done this written for this character in a while, and I'll be thinking, like, you know what was that TV show I was watching the other day? Like, oh, there was some interesting ideas in that. And then I kind of, like, put the two together, like, hang on, an idea is forming, and then I'll write it down and just pin it for later. But I'll never say no to potentially opening up for a continuation of a story. I will say there's some stories that are like permanently on hiatus or taken offline for other reasons. Those ones I'm never going to be touching again for those reasons. I'd be open to potentially doing like sequels or spin-offs to other series that I've done, but a lot of them, by the time I get to the end of the series, I've spent so many weeks, if not months, with these characters that I feel like I want to work on something new or something different. But hopefully that answers your question. Thank you so much. Wait, what? Hang on. Look at the fan art page on Discord. 1 second. I'm getting there. Oh, Z is looking amazing. I love it. Thank you so much. Oh my god, she's looking so cool. Thank you so much, Z. It looks so good. Thank you. Okay. Berserk Boy. Question: what US state would you live in, and why would it be Texas? If I lived in a US state, it would probably be Massachusetts. Like, I love visiting Texas. I love seeing my friends who live in Texas. I could not live in Texas. I would probably either live in Massachusetts or maybe Oregon. Somewhere where there's a lot of greenery and it's very, very pretty. But it has that old Americana touch. Not at all saying Massachusetts because I want to live near Salem or Boston. Not at all. Not at all. I would say New Orleans and live down in Louisiana, but I don't want to live anywhere south. So for me, personally, if I was going to live in the States, I'd probably say somewhere like Massachusetts. I've visited New York. I could not live in New York. No, thank you. Oregon is so nice. Oh, good. Okay, question from Mockingjay. So you did run a D&D group. Are you intimidated by going south and hostilities happening? I've had horror stories involving the group so bad that it actually kills actual friendships. I will say that if you bring a bunch of strangers to a table who aren't already like established friends, that can lead to some heat because they're not used to like bouncing off of each other's energy in that way. If you've got a very good, trusting, established group of friends, it's kind of up to like the dungeon master or the game master oversees making sure that everyone's having a good time and everyone's playing fair, but it's also up to the players to just not be dicks. Not be dicks at the table. No one at the table is the main character. Everyone is having their little moment in the spotlight, and the spotlight shifts depending on what's happening or where the story is going, but there's no one main character. And I have a feeling for some people, they want to be the main character of the D&D adventure, and that's where things get tricky. There's other horrible things that go wrong when playing D&D. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I think if I was going to invite anyone to play D&D with me, we would have to be very, very close, very trusting friends already, and I would have to know what their play style is. Ideally, I would like them to have played D&D before, so they're already a bit familiar with everything. They know how the game works. They know what the standard rules are and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of like my general thought process regarding that. But thank you so much for your question. Yes, Vince, you need to join the Discord. Why haven't I invited you to the Discord yet? I'm sorry. I should do that. Alrighty, question. Sorry if this question sounds a bit redundant. You're an incredibly talented VA as is, but is there any areas of voice acting that you think you need more practice on or improving that not a lot of people will understand when it comes to voice acting? Good question. Two things that I know I need to work on. My general American accent, that I know that needs work. I know that needs more practice. And two, screaming. So when it comes to screaming, like especially if you think of like horror movies and stuff like that, to scream in a healthy way, and this is something that you learn if you want to get into like metal music, is that a lot of screaming, so you don't like really strain like your vocal cords, is you're screaming from, you can't see it on camera, but you're screaming from the diaphragm, so it's more of like a guttural thing. It's more like pushing the air out of the lungs in that way, rather than causing tension in the vocal cords. Because if you cause the tension in the vocal cords, that's how you can ruin your voice. So it's fine for like short bursts when you want that really high pitched, shrill, shocked sort of scream. But if you're doing screaming for voice acting for a longer period, think of like in video games when you've got like hordes of zombies coming at you. Those were all recorded by someone screaming into a microphone. And you have to spend so long doing different octaves of screams, different speeds of screams, different intensities of screams. So it's that healthy longevity that you need to practice, I think. So yeah, I think that's probably the two key things that I'm kind of thinking like, okay, those are things I legit need to practice more. Thank you for your question. Oh, Vince, I will send you a link to the Discord because you absolutely need to be on my, like, because I have a special list of people that I'm friends with that can, like, just chill in the Discord. So it's all good. I will send you a link later after the stream. Oh, Game Brain Jargus, thank you so much for dropping by. Thank you so much. From Lord Azul, Steph, are there any characters that you've written for that have made you feel unclean or for being in their headspace or for the purpose of writing their dialogue? Night Angel. Night Angel, absolutely. You know what? Fuck it. I'll talk about it. So I'm taking this as a sign of growth. There was a period of time where I had a deeply toxic mentality about someone that I was romantically interested in. And it took a lot of therapy and a lot of self-reflection in order to get out of those toxic mindsets. Sometimes I am worried that some of the stuff that comes out about Night Angel is like it comes from a part of me that I'm deeply ashamed of and like never want to bring to the surface again, in a way that it feels like cathartic to get it out on paper, to voice act, to get it out of my system in a really good, healthy way that, you know, people are surprisingly entertained by. But sometimes I'll find I just get into the flow of when I'm writing, especially when things get really mean and things get really dark, that I'm like, oh, I need to go out and touch some grass. Like, this is, not good. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna take the rest of the day off and just, like, distance myself from this character for a bit. And then I think that's probably came about when I took that break after, like, between Now All You Have Is Me, like, when Little Star leaves her, and then her return that happened like in October last year. I had to take a break from her for a while because I just needed to tweak my mindset about writing her scripts. Okay, it's good to see that 94% of you were on board with absolutely yes with Cyborg Assassin, Cyborg Bounty Hunter, Sci-Fi ASMR. Good to know. I will potentially add that to the roster of scripts that I need to write. Thank you. But yes. I think definitely Night Angel is someone that I have felt uncomfortable at times writing for and performing. I've talked to Scarlett about this to kind of touch base with a friend and be like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm doing this in a healthy sort of way. She's been incredible. She's one of my best friends. Like, she's been very supportive and understanding of me, very patient. And she always comes back with incredible advice to help kind of figure my head out and try and figure things out. But I'm taking it as a positive that I'm using any like lingering toxicity that is still in me into a form that is creative and cathartic to me. And to clarify, I am so much better than the person I once was, like years and years ago when I did have those toxic mindsets. I have none of that anymore. I'm actively seeing a therapist every couple of weeks. I'm in a much healthier mindset in regards to a lot of things, especially when it comes to relationships. I won't go too far into that, but I'm a lot healthier now than I was back then. But I find sometimes just writing Night Angel scripts, it brings up like old feelings that I'm like, I thought I'd buried you, goddamn it. But yes, it's all good now. Thank you so much for your question. Let's see. From Weaver, question, when it comes to your voice acting career, was it something that you've always wanted to do, like from when you were a kid for a long time, or is it something you've fairly recently been going into, like 10 years ago, for example? Ooh, good question. I think when I was a kid, I always had an interest or a kind of a passing fascination in voice acting, but I didn't think it was for me because I thought that you had to be interested in theatre or drama in order to want to be a voice actor, because a voice actor is an actor. And I was terrible at drama class. I was absolutely awful. I thought like you had to have like that natural like spark, that natural like charisma that, you know, when you see, I say this respectfully, when you see theatre kids in high school who are just full of so much charisma and so much pizzazz and confidence, like, it's undeniable that they want to be actors. They dream of being actors. I was not that. I was an anxious little mess all throughout high school, and I didn't want to be looked at, or do not look at me, do not see me at all. And then when I got into my 20s and I started like my stuff on YouTube, narrating like creepypastas and stuff, I had like the Seraph of Stories, my persona, firmly in place that I could just have any attention directed to her. And so it wasn't until I started dipping my toes into actual voice acting. Remley's 40k Theories, he was actually the first person to reach out to me to ask if I'd be interested in auditioning for a voice acting project, and I said yes. And then after that, I immediately got sent an audition by Rem, I think, for the Redwall games, because they were looking to cast for those games. And I auditioned with my terrible old microphone, but I still got onto the roster of potential voice actors for the project. And that was kind of like, oh, it genuinely kind of took me back, like, oh shit, kind of didn't really see this coming. Like I've told this story before. I had dabbled in narration and voice acting in the past. Before I set up my YouTube channel for like narrating creepypastas, I did sometimes read, or just like experimenting to like see how my voice sounded in recording. I would read out bits of fanfic that I wrote for, myself, and listen back to it and just be like, no, it's terrible. It's terrible. No, never. And I remember I to this day, I can't recall what the project was for. But I remember sitting in the corner of my room with my laptop on my lap. And I think I was trying to record with the microphone in the laptop. Don't do this. If you're an aspiring voice actor, do not do this. I was trying to record an audition for something with the microphone in the laptop. And I sent it off being very proud of it. I did not hear back. I did not get the role. But I think I gave it a shot, and I was like, oh, you know, like, I tried. It's not going to happen. That's fine. But I think that was kind of my first dip into actually trying to audition for something. And then once things just started to happen, and it just kept building and building and building until it got to the point where, like, I got nominated for an award for my role as Scion in bring up my website. It's quite late over here. My brain's a little bit scrambled. I got nominated for an Audioverse award for my role as Scion in A Ninth World Journal, which was incredible. And that was definitely like a kick I felt really was like kicking me, like, oh, okay, this is confirmation that I'm not just like a voice actor. I'm a good voice actor, and people really like what I'm doing, and I keep working hard and getting cast in things, and my YouTube channel keeps growing. And then it felt like, okay, It helped build that confidence in me to be like, okay, I now know I can do this thing. People are telling me that I am good at this thing. I'm getting the reassurance from friends, from fellow voice actors that I can do this thing. So I guess I'm going to do this thing. And it is what it is. And now we're here. And we just have 5 more minutes to enter the raffle. So if you have not entered yet and you would like to do so, be sure to be following my channel and type in !giveaway in order to enter. Twitch subs will be given 5 extra tickets, and we'll be drawing in just a short while. Arkish, thank you so much for the follow. And yes, the raffle, I'm giving away a Steam key for Cult of the Lamb. Sorry, I've been so caught up with questions and answering questions that I haven't been promoting the raffle as much. But yes, yes. So, only just a few more minutes. But yes, I'm giving away a Steam key for Cult of the Lamb to celebrate hitting 50k on YouTube. If you type in !giveaway, you'll be able to enter the raffle to be in the running for that. And I will be drawing it at the end of the stream. Hell yes. Vanciensius, a question. You said you like horror, so I asked, do you know the game Madison? If you do, you would, not necessarily in stream. I believe that's on my Steam wish list. I haven't played it yet. It sounds familiar. I think I have heard of it before, but I haven't played it yet. Been a long time subscriber on YouTube, but I have no idea how Twitch works. It's okay, Arkish. It's all good. Just chat, vibe with us, have a wonderful time. I'm going to be drawing the giveaway in a little bit, and the lucky winner will be announced in chat, and then I will try and find you and then DM you just to make sure that you're active, and then I will send you the Steam key after the stream. But everyone's having a good time tonight, and honestly, tonight's been lovely. I'm not gonna lie, I always get a little bit anxious about Q&A streams just because they're so different from my usual format, and I sometimes wonder, like, am I gonna, like, fuck up and say something stupid? Like, there's always a fun level of silliness to my streams, a healthy amount of silliness, and not taking myself too seriously. But I always get a little bit worried when it's just me talking for extensive periods, and I don't know, would you guys want me to do, potentially want to see me do more just talking streams, where I just kind of ramble thoughts, maybe about a particular topic or subject matter or something like that? Gamebrain Jargus, question. I've been wanting to ask for a long time, is there any more examination roles in the future, possibly ones where the listener isn't technically normal? Could you clarify what you mean by examination? Do you mean like medical examination, or like the listener is a subject and the character I'm playing is like a doctor or a professor or something like that? If you could clarify that for me, that would be great. Just because I'm trying to think like characters being examined. I'm thinking of like Lady Blackveil, my Dark Elder character, or are you thinking of the fencing teacher, where it was much more kind of critical teacher roleplay kind of stuff? Okay, interested in maybe a just talking stream. Interesting, good to know. Or a tech priest. Interesting. I'm not sure. I would lean towards saying no, because I'm not sure if that's really my style, but maybe in the future. I'm not quite sure. But thank you so much for your question. Oh, it's all good for being vague. I would say probably leaning towards no. Because I was thinking maybe that would fit out if I was going to do like a doctor or a nurse RP, but I tend to lean more towards fantastical characters, so probably maybe no. I can't really see myself doing one in the future, but thank you so much for asking. Question, have you thought of doing RP gaming like NoPixel or VR chat? I've tried my damnedest to play VR chat, but it gives me such a headache because I get really bad motion sickness if I'm in first person perspective for too long. Like when we were playing Resident Evil Village, I would have to take motion sickness pills before jumping on stream, because sometimes like especially if things go quickly, like the way they do in VR chat when you're just like pivoting around and trying to like look at everyone around you, it makes me like really queasy, and I have to like make my character sit down in the corner for a second and just kind of focus. So maybe not like VR stuff, but I'm not familiar with NoPixel. I'll maybe look at that, but probably not, I would say, just because like it kind of makes me a little bit queasy to play. But thank you so much for your question, Mockingjay. Berserk Boy, what series or fictional characters that turn you back into a high schooler on 2013 Tumblr? Okay, immediately, I was much more of an anime nerd in like early 2010s, so I would think probably immediately coming to mind Ouran High School Host Club and Black Butler immediately come to mind. Hellsing and Hellsing Ultimate has my heart. That I love that series so much. I actually have like a cool little thing of Alucard right here. 1 second. Can you see him? Look at how handsome he is. I'm still very much an anime nerd in some respects. But I think definitely Black Butler makes me feel like a especially Tumblr teenager. So those ones immediately come to mind. I was also kind of more into Vocaloid stuff in the early 2010s as well. Like a lot of Vocaloid stuff, especially like some of their darker songs. That especially the one that featured Kalnikar, Bacterial Infection. That song slaps. So good. But yeah, more anime stuff, like darker anime stuff or Vocaloid stuff. That kind of makes me feel like 2013 Tumblr vibes. Question, do you play board games? And if you do, what is your favorite? I love Betrayal at House on the Hill. I think that's a great game to play with friends because it's kind of a bit of a murder mystery, but with a lot more layers to it. And I also love just a game of Monopoly and just watching people unravel. And so I have a lot of fun with classics like Monopoly. Everyone knows the rules to Monopoly, so you can bring out that board expecting a fight at some point and just have fun with it. I really want to practice playing chess more. I need to practice playing chess more. I want to get better at chess, but I know it takes practice, and I want to be a genius at it immediately. That's the thing. Like, I get frustrated when I'm not immediately good at chess. Like, I sit down to practice and play a game against a bot or something, and then immediately they start taking my pieces, and I just go, fuck this. Well, I could just close you. Game over. Those are the immediate ones that are coming to mind. I can't think of any others at the moment. Does D&D count as a board game? If so, yes to D&D. More D&D, please. And thank you. Oh, but thank you for the question, Arkish. Oh, no. Okay, I get it that Black Butler makes a lot of sense considering this. But when I said Black Butler, were you guys just like nodding your heads like, that makes sense. I can see that. Yes. I have so many volumes of the manga. Back in Australia, I didn't bring them with me. And I don't collect the manga anymore because it just, like, I understand the direction the plot it was going in, but it just went too off the rails for me. And I'm like, no, thank you. Also, we're getting new Black Butler anime coming out, and I'm feeling like my teenage self just, like, resurge within me, just like, it's not over. It'll never be over. Ooh, Alex, here's a question. If you could voice a favorite childhood character, be it a show, book, or game, who would it be? Good question. Childhood character. I'm not sure if this counts, but I would have loved to play a character on Billy and Mandy. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I would have loved to be on that show. Because that was a show I grew up with and watched a lot of growing up. So I'm not sure if my voice would work for Mandy. Maybe for that hot goth girl that Grim dated for one episode. Maybe her. Malaria. I think her name was Malaria. Oh, no, wait. And Seducer. Seducer from the Powerpuff Girls. Please. Please and thank you. I would love to play her. Please and thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Because I think my voice could fit her everything very well. Thank you for the question. Let's see. Oh, I've seen season 2. Let's not talk about season 2, otherwise I'm going to get angry. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm glad that you guys appreciate, like, when I said Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, everyone's like, yes, a woman of culture. She grew up with the best things. Like, yes, Billy and Mandy was absolutely one of the best. Question, is there any roles for VA or ASMR that you don't particularly like playing/doing, or are you generally the type of VA that is down for everything? The only roles that I will say no to is any voices that are distinctly childlike or for child characters that aren't, like, otherworldly. So I don't feel comfortable straining my voice or trying to force a voice that sounds like a child character or like a high-pitched, and high-energy characters. I find my voice and voice acting fits better with, like, the cool, calm, and collected, like, if you're going to have more, like, the bookish, like, girl in high school, or you have, like, the creepy occult girl at high school. I don't feel comfortable or have the greatest confidence in performing, like, the really, like, high energy, peppy, like, let's do this, guys, like, those kind of characters. Like, I can give it my best, but I know there are other voice actors who can do it better. I also don't think I can play child characters very well or convincingly. If I'm doing an audiobook and I'm doing all of the voices already, it's understandable. Like, I'm happy to dip my voice, like, make my voice higher just to play a kid character, and that's totally fine. But I will make my voice higher and really distinctly high-pitched, because it doesn't sound like an actual child, but it does sound like, say, a pixie, or like a robot that had, like, very high-pitched voice, like
a little Cult of the Lamb sort of voice, where you do have something really high-pitched, but it doesn't sound like an actual kid, but it maybe sounds more like a fairy, or maybe an imp, or maybe a cute little lamb that has, like, a little knife and it goes stabbing people or something.
Like, you know what I mean? I hope that kind of explains things. But thank you so much for your question, Weaver. And I think with that, let's put a pause on questions for now, because we've come to the end of the raffle. So sorry guys, you can't enter the raffle anymore, so I'm very curious to see who our lucky winner is. But there is some news that I want to share with you. Just checking. Oh, it's all good, Vince. You take care, okay? Okay, there we go. I'm just going to step away for a second because I just need to use the restroom, and I'll be back in just a moment to draw the winner of the raffle and reveal some very exciting news. So I will see you in just a moment, my lovelies. You'll do your own hydrate checks and a stretch check, and I'll be back in 5 or so minutes. So I will see you in just a moment. Potato chips, potato chips, potato chips, potato chips.
Here we go, off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew. Don't need bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we could zoom all the way to the moon from this great wide wacky world. Jump with me, grab coins with me, oh yeah. Time to jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared. Jump up and your cares will soar away. And if the dark clouds start to swirl, don't fear, don't shed a tear, 'cause I'll be your one-up girl. So let's all jump up super high, high up in the sky. There's no power up like dancing. You know that you're my superstar. No one else can take me this far. Flipping the switch. Get ready for this song. Let's do the Odyssey. Odyssey, yes, see. 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 Odyssey. Spin the wheel, take a chance. Every journey starts a new romance. A new world's calling out to you. Take a turn off the path. Find a new addition to the cast. You know that any captain needs a crew. Take it in stride as you move side to side. They're just different points of view. Jump with me, grab coins with me.
And we are back. I don't know why my microphone is still doing that, but now I remember to unmute it when I jumped over to the screen. So welcome back, everyone. Hello, can you hear me all nice and clearly? All good things, I hope. Okay, so I just want to check that everyone's back and everyone's finished vibing. Really, finished with your own hydrate checks and stretch checks and all that good stuff. Because I have news. I have news to share, and it's all good news, don't you worry. Okay, 1 second. Oh, stretch check. Thank you so much, Jackrass. Oh. Ah, there we go. Well, I have to leave soon as I have to pick my folks up from the airport, so I'll leave you all with its parting wisdom. Get lots of sleep, don't push yourselves too hard, and be sure to drink lots of blood. I need more blood in my diet, so thank you so much for that. And you take care, okay? Okay, so I have news, and it's all very exciting news. So I have something very special planned for this Valentine's Day. Something very, very special planned for this Valentine's. 2 special things planned, in fact. So, I won't say what a recent development that happened this week, but I have more time on my hands now. So, on Valentine's Day, 2 things are happening. Firstly, I'm going to be releasing on my second YouTube channel, where I put all my Twitch VODs, a supercut of all of the Astarion and Silesia moments that I snipped together over the course of me playing Baldur's Gate 3. It is going to include some of my favorite little RP moments as well, that I talk about their relationship, about my personal thoughts on Silesia. So it's all going to be snipped together, and it is including the special personalized epilogue that I wrote. I have been putting this together bit by bit, pretty much at the end of each stream, snipping out the sections that I wanted from each stream of those two together, like key romance moments, some other like little moments. A lot of the stream that we did, that was Astarion's quest facing Cazador, and snipping together some of the big moments from across the game as a whole, with the two of them in particular. So that is going to be a supercut that is going to be released on Valentine's Day. So that's part 1. Part 2 is that I will be streaming on Wednesday. Yes. On Valentine's Day, on Wednesday, I will be streaming First Bite, which is a lovely, spicy visual novel with hot vampires, as a fun Valentine's Day stream. And also, moving forward, I'm going to be streaming on Wednesdays as well. I'm going to be keeping it a little bit free and open until I decide if I want to commit to one game in particular. But on Wednesdays, I will potentially be streaming and adding that to my regular roster. So instead of doing just 2 nights a week, Friday and Sunday, I'm going to be doing 3 nights a week, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. And Wednesdays, I'm going to be leaving a little bit open. So I might decide like, hey, I want to play this at the moment, or if there's a new exciting game that I want to play, but I'm already doing or committed to something on Friday and Sunday, I might play it on Wednesdays. But I'm also leaving Wednesdays quite flexible, because I will also potentially be streaming with friends. Because now I won't go into details, and once things are confirmed, I'll put out a announcement about it. But I have a lot more freedom and flexibility nowadays to do more voice acting stuff, more Twitch stuff, and more YouTube stuff. So you might be seeing a lot more of me making ASMR tales, streaming on Twitch, and doing voice acting things. So there's a good chance I'll be streaming with more friends. I've been talking already with Taylor about potentially doing streams together on occasion on Wednesdays. We still need to figure out the logistics because we are in 2 different countries, so it makes things a little bit tricky. But I'm going to be streaming a lot more. And I'm going to be trying to make Wednesdays a regular thing as well, as a regular part of my schedule. And you're potentially going to be seeing more ASMR tales from me. And I'm releasing the Astarion and Salacia supercut of their romance together and their story on Valentine's Day. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be sharing it across my all my socials. So if you're not already following those, be sure to do so, because that would be amazing and very much appreciated. And on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday for Valentine's Day, I will be playing First Bite. It is fun, it is sexy, there are hot vampires in it, and you try not to die. That's the general premise. It is a fun visual novel. We should be able to get through the full thing in one night, and I'm very excited to share my Valentine's Day with you. So, if you're like me, and you don't have a Valentine's this date, well, don't you worry. You can all be my Valentines this year. So please join me on Wednesday, because we will be streaming First Bite. And I hope you can all join me for that as well, because I'm very excited to be able to stream more often and get to spend more time with you, my lovelies. I am very, very excited for this strange and wonderful and exciting and a little scary direction my life has taken this week. But we will see how things go. I'm very excited for what the future holds. And there are a lot of good things to look forward to in 2024, including a little something that I've been working on. Are you guys ready to see the super secret project I've been teasing that I have been working on for quite some time? Oh, I'm not sure if I can hear you loud enough, chat. Can we get a little bit more hype in chat, please? For the super secret project that I'm totally not at all building up suspense for. Oh yes, let's get some yes more, yes please, and Oh, amazing. Yes, 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 yes. That's what I like to see, my lovelies. Okay, so brace yourselves and enjoy what I've been working on and what's coming this year. In the cold, dark nation of Noctilia, tucked between the pale hinterlands and the Goldahir Mountains, lies the small, secretive land of Velsvania, where the voices of witches are carried on the wind, wolves roam freely beneath the beauty of the moon, and creatures of the night stalk the shadows. Umbramorn, the city of candles and cats, stands proudly as the capital, teeming with spellcasters, strange creatures, and untapped magical potential. But the shadows are hungry for power and for blood. You see, my lovely lost tale, before there was the Castle of Blue Roses, there was the Fall of Umbramorn. A Stephanie Swan Quills ASMR tale. Coming in 2024. Okay, so thoughts? I'm delighted to announce that this year, The Castle of Blue Roses is getting a prequel series. I have been sitting on this for like over a year now. I have been planning on doing a prequel to The Castle of Blue Roses for over a year. It's maybe even possibly closer to 2 years, but I wanted to wait for the right time to do it. And to celebrate hitting 50,000 subscribers. Hang on. Why's my desktop? I just realized desktop audio was quiet. Anyway. And to celebrate hitting 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, I want to go back to where it all began. To my first ASMR series that helped kickstart this real burst of growth on my channel and this real interest in like my channel and everything like that. So we're going back to Velsvania before the Castle of Blue Roses to witness the fall of Umbramorn. And I am so excited to bring this to you guys. And can we take a moment to appreciate the art design and the silver armor corset and the blue dress? Just absolutely. Now, Ren Pen absolutely killed it with the poster that I commissioned her for this. They did an absolutely incredible job with this. I have a clear idea of the full scope of the series and how long it's going to be. I would love to say that it's going to have a regular, consistent schedule. However, in terms of like releasing like hypothetically 1 chapter a month or something. However, this is going to be a huge project for me. And it is also going to be a huge project for Ren Pen, who is doing a lot of art for this series. So the last thing I want to do is overwhelm them or like burden them with like too much work at once. So while I would love to say like, oh, a new chapter is coming out every month, and that is potentially something I will be working towards, trying to do like 1 chapter of this series a month. It's going to be very, very taxing on Ren Pen, who also has their own life of their own schedule of their own. So this is a series that is going to be actively worked on, and we're going back to Velsvania, and I'm very, very excited to see what this you guys think of this series I'm planning. But the chapters will come as they're ready, and when they meet the standard that I hold myself to as a storyteller. So I'm very, very excited to see what happens next on my channel. I am so excited to bring this series to you because I made that map. I made that map of Velsvania. I've been working on that trailer for so long, and I was so excited to finally bring it to you. But it makes me so happy to see so much hype and everyone just so excited for this. I am going to be releasing the trailer on my YouTube channel and seeing what you guys, what everyone else thinks of it who aren't able to make it here tonight for the live reveal. But I'm very excited to see what you guys think of this series. But yes, you will get to see the Countess again. And I'm very excited to see what you guys think of her. Oh, you know I spoil you, my lovelies. Because you're so amazing to me. And so wonderful. No, I was using Incarnate for making the map. And I love Incarnate. You can make amazing D&D maps on that website, and I had so much fun making that map. Yes. Okay. And how long have you been going for? About 2.5, almost 3 hours. I think it's time to draw the winner of the raffle and then wrap up tonight's stream. Alrighty. So. Now I'm wondering what series will get a prequel series once 100k is reached. Who knows? At the moment, it's like 100k. Maybe I'll do a D&D stream or something like that. Who knows if it will eventually reach 100k. Oh, but I wanted to absolutely make tonight's Q&A a really big event with these big announcements that I'm going to be streaming on Wednesdays as well, that I have this supercut coming out of Silesia and Astarion, and the reveal of this trailer. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to see what this year holds for us. And I could not do this without you, my lovelies. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so, so much for many of you, many years of support. To many of you also are newcomers. And thank you so much for taking a chance, for sticking around, for showing how much you love my work. Because I am so passionate about what I do and I put all of my heart and soul into what I make. So it really means a lot to see people like really appreciate the value of it and be so receptive and so appreciative of it. So thank you. Thank you so much. Alrighty. Let us draw this winner. Alrighty. And the lucky winner of tonight's giveaway is... Weaver of Passion has won the raffle! Yes! Oh, congratulations, Weaver! Oh, Sam, actually, don't tell me. Wait until after I've gone offline and then I'll have a look at the numbers myself, so... Oh, but congratulations, Weaver. Let me just grab you in chat. Let's just get a little DM going. Actually, no, you're on Discord as well. I'll send you the thing on Discord. 1 second. Actually, Weaver, if you're on the Discord, could you just send me a DM quickly? And then I will send you the Steam key after the stream is over. Just casually sliding into your DMs live on the air. Alrighty, but I can take care of that after the stream and make sure that goes your way. So... I'm sorry, just because I have Discord open at the moment. Z, thank you so much for the amazing art. Oh my god, that's... Thank you, that's so incredible. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing, thank you. Hang on 1 second. Just because then I can get this wrapped up before we sign off tonight. And there we go. The prize has been given. So let us wrap things up for tonight. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let's try that again. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, my lovelies. I had such an amazing evening with you. I'm definitely considering doing more of these just chatting in the futures. Like, just relaxing with you guys, just chilling, having a great time together. But I'm also very excited with the new possibilities that lie ahead for me this year. 2024 is looking to be a very busy, very full year for me. And I could not be more excited to embrace it wholeheartedly. With this sudden and unexpected change, because literally it only happened this week, I now have more time to do the things that I love, to stream more, to make more stories for YouTube, more ASMR tales for YouTube, to work on other projects that are very secret for now, and to throw myself fully into pursuing voice acting as a career. I've already come so far already, and I'm so grateful for all of your support on this incredible journey. And I just want to keep telling stories. I just want to keep telling stories, being a part of amazing projects, and bringing more amazing things into this world. And the fact that I'm lucky enough to have an audience as welcoming, as loving, as loyal, as supportive as you, my lovely Lost Tales, I could not be more grateful for it. So as much as like you show me an incredible level of love, give yourself an incredible level of love in return. Like, pat yourself on the back for being one of the healthiest and kindest and most welcoming communities on the whole goddamn internet, let's be honest. So thank you so very much, my lovely Lost Tales, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for helping me reach this incredible milestone of 50K, 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That silver play button feels closer and closer every day, and I could not do this without you. So if you are able to, it's always hugely appreciated if you would consider donating, sending some bits, or becoming a Twitch sub, or gifting some subs. All of that is so helpful to me, especially now, or considering becoming a supporter on Patreon. But I would always ask that you prioritize your own financial responsibilities before considering supporting me. I just always want to keep things healthy, and never feel like you're pressured into supporting me financially unless you're able to comfortably. If you're not able to, that is more than fine. If you would consider sharing my stuff with friends, with communities that you think would enjoy my stuff, like sharing videos of mine on different websites and stuff like that you think would enjoy them, it all goes a long way in terms of helping my voice spread out across the world, reach people who have yet to come across me. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for all of us. But with that, let us wrap things up tonight, and I will see you next time. If you've been lurking in the shadows and you like what you've seen so far, please consider following. Hang on, that's a little loud. Let's just drop that down a bit. Yes, if you like what you've seen so far, please consider following. We would love to have you back at the Blue Rose Respite. You're welcome anytime. Be sure to check out my other socials that are popping up in the chat right now, including my 2 YouTube channels, one for my ASMR tales and one for my Twitch VODs. The latest chapter of my Night Angel series came out last night to amazing reception, so I'm very excited about that. And my second channel with my Twitch VODs is where my Silesia and Astarian Supercut is going to be hosted on, so be sure to check that out and give that some love as well. And of course my Twitter, my Insta, and my TikTok for other fun things, and just some of the random stuff that I like to post on those. And let us see who's currently live, and we can send them some love. Hey, you know what? Neil Newbon is streaming, so let us go say hi to Neil and the crew, pass on the love, and thank you so much, my lovely Lost Tales, for joining me tonight here at the Blue Rose Respite. I will see you on Wednesday for First Bite to celebrate Valentine's Day together. I'm very excited for that. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, stay wicked and wonderful. Good night, my lovelies.